So you all know how now see who Bobbi is, but I'm so happy that she is willing to join our little region. I feel kind of humbled by it. I know you're our neighbor and friend in our neighboring region, but congratulations again on your president.
Yes, congratulations.
We really value your knowledge and look forward to what you have to share with us tonight.
Okay. So my name's Bobbi Enderlin, and I'm a member of Seroptimus International Benicia in Founder Region. And I'm currently serving on the SIA board as president-elect. My term as president starts September 1st. You know, I'm super excited about this, but I'm kind of nervous. I will be leading a 14-member team of leaders. So am I going to be able to motivate them? So am I prepared for this new position? Preparing for this workshop has made me think long and hard about why we sometimes have a tough time motivating our club members, and that I may face the same dilemma as I step into my new role. So when Governor Judy asked me to do this workshop, I thought, well, this is a no-brainer. We all know that motivation matters. In all parts of our life, motivation plays a part in how well we perform, especially in teams or when working with others, like our club. You know, motivating groups of volunteers is different than motivating employees. In order to motivate our members, we really need to understand why they join in the first place. So why do people join Seroptimus? Consider some reasons. They want to contribute both time and or money to a cause in which they believe. Some people want to learn new skills. Some people have a desire for change, or they want to have fun and enjoy what they are doing and make new friends. So as a club leader, how can you motivate members that join for many different reasons? Well, here's some of my thoughts on how I've motivated members in my club and in my region. One of the basics, I think, is to ask members what they want to do. And an easy way to do that is through like a skills assessment. What skills do they have? What activities are they interested in? What things do they want to learn? You know, just being asked is an important step in motivating them. Another way is to appreciate and recognize members' work all the time. Recognize members at your meetings, in public, in your newsletters, and social media. Just to give you an example, when I was president it was 2020, the famous 2020. And we were on Zoom, all our meetings. We had no in-person meetings. So every month I had a little section at the end of the meeting where I would recognize people that had kind of gone above and beyond. And I always picked one to, my theme was sharing the joy of Seroptimus. So I had a sharing the joy of Seroptimus award. And I made a little, kind of like a flyer with their congratulating them and for what I had given them the award for. And I announced it at the meeting. I posted it on our Facebook page, and I actually sent them a copy of it with a $5 Starbucks gift card. And that went a long way. I got a lot of good feedback from that, just recognizing people for something they did that was just a little bit above the norm. Another way to motivate members is to get buy-in from them on projects. Hold brainstorming sessions to get their ideas and really listen. If you don't involve members in planning events, they won't have the buy-in to support them. So those are sort of my take on ways to motivate members. The flyer or handout that that I believe that, I don't know if you attach that to the invitation, but from SIA, it's a leadership tip, motivation matters. I don't know if this will come through or not. I can't ever figure out how to do this. Oh well. Had some great ideas. I'm not going to read all that to you, but one of their suggestions was to make sure you focus your activities on our mission. That's why a lot of members join, because they like the cause. I mentioned that earlier. If we're not doing activities that they feel are for our mission or focused on, women and girls and education, they may not be motivated to do the fundraiser, for example. Show appreciation, encourage brainstorming, know your team, get to know each other. People get motivated a lot better when they know who they're working with and they trust each other. Tug at their heartstrings, don't just ask for money, but explain what you're using the money for. And that's good, not just for your members, but for your sponsors, your donors. Celebrate and be the model as leaders. It's critical that we lead by example. So be sure and communicate, keep promises, be respectful, have a positive attitude, and always show kindness. These factors are powerful and will encourage success. So it's true that moving club members to action can be a challenge, but without creating a motivating atmosphere that's open, trusting, and fun, membership can drop, and ultimately the women and girls who need our help the most suffer. So those are just some thoughts on motivation and why it matters. And I'd like to open it up to any comments or questions that you all have. What things have you done in your clubs or on your team to motivate members, so we can share with each other? Anybody? We have such a great, big, huge group, so.
I was just going to ask a question, and then Caden, you can go. As you were speaking, I was thinking, I wonder if seroptimists, or maybe it's an individual thing, are, kind of more goal oriented. So for example, we set a region goal for Live Your Dream for this year, not just at the club level, but as a region, we wanted to do X number of awards and X amount of dollars. And that was to push us up to the next level, to get an additional award from SIA. Sure. So I know, because I was very aware of that, I know within my own club, was really trying to corral people around that, let's do everything we can to get more money so that we can give more, and our club can, help toward that region goal. Do you think that's kind of an individual thing, or do you think generally people are motivated by a goal that is driven toward the mission?
Yeah, I think it helps to have goals like that, because it's not like a group of employees that are motivated by paychecks and bonuses and, whatever, giving them a good project or something. And I think it's important that we feel how we fit into the bigger picture. So helping a club understand how they're helping the region's goal meet their goals, I think that's a real positive way to motivate members. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think it probably is an individual thing. I think that after having a meeting with Charlotte, who is one of our district directors this week, if it's not fun, she's not motivated. So I think, and that really emphasized to me that we need, and I don't know, I think about the fun, but I probably need to think about it more often.
Yeah, that's one thing I did at every club meeting we had, or business meeting, I guess. I tried to incorporate a section. It was sort of getting to know each other, but like throw out a question or a situation and have everybody, when they do the introduction, talk about that. Like, what was your first date like? Or I don't know, just crazy personal kind of things to get to know each other. And I think every meeting we did another topic, you know, what's your favorite color and why, and things like that. Just, and it made it fun. One time when we were actually meeting in person, we had everybody bring a picture of themselves at age 10 around there. And then it was a real icebreaker. You know, you got to talk to people and, oh my gosh, look at your hairdo and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. So I think you do need to make fun part of the meetings, or else, you know, it's just another meeting, and you know, we're all tired at the end of the day if it's an evening meeting or whatever. Yeah, I think it's important to include fun and get to know each other also. Yeah, I know that there's a club in my region that has a home dinner once a month. They still meet weekly, so on the 5th, whatever the 5th, if there's a 5th Monday, they have a dinner at someone's home, and they have a committee that puts it together. Sometimes they get takeout, sometimes they actually cook it, but they invite their families, and it's really, I've gone to them a couple of times, and it's really fun. And there's no business, it's just a social. So having those social times is really, and sometimes that will motivate, you know, you're going to motivate some of the people with that. Others, they just want to do the business and get on with it. So, you know, that's why at the beginning I said it's kind of hard to motivate members that all have different reasons for being there. So you kind of have to hit on all of it, I think. Yeah. Anybody else?
One of the things I'd like to do is give them a job, give them something to do. It motivates them because, well, and it helps with the buy-in. Because then if they're part of what's being planned, then they're more inclined, more likely to get involved. And that's the biggest thing. And then when you're doing presentations, you got to be enthusiastic. You got to have your own buy-in to it. And I've gone to presentations where they're not exactly monotone, but you don't feel like they're truly invested in what it is you came to learn about. Your presenter is not there. And that's frustrating as the person who's attending, to listen to the presenter just kind of present the facts and nothing there. So for me, it's the enthusiasm of the presenter, and then getting the person that I'm trying to lead a responsibility in the project so that they do have their buy-in. They are wanting to be part of. And I'm big on recognition. So I worked a job for 30 years where you didn't get recognition.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm really big on recognizing.
Caden, I think that's a really good point. As I've seen it, last year we had a president that would throw out an idea or a project and say, is anybody interested? And she would do it through email, and she would do it at the meeting, and nobody would ever volunteer.
Right.
Well, it was like it was all planned out. She was just looking for people to be on this team or whatever, and she didn't really talk to people individually and find out what they wanted to do and have them help plan the activity. And people they just don't want to be told, here's what we're doing, and just show up. They want to be part of it, and that gives them the buy-in. So that's exactly right. And especially new members, it's really good to get them assigned to a job right away. Otherwise,
you get them on a committee.
Yeah.
You get them on the committee, and then you find out what their strengths are, and you put them in chair or something right off.
Exactly.
then they're in there. They are part of what's going on.
Well, and you know, everybody is a valuable member of your club and should be listened to. And especially when we get new folks in, we need to hear what they say, because times are different. I mean, it's not the same as it was 20 years ago. And a lot of us that have been around a while, we kind of tend to want to do the same thing because we're comfortable, but that's not what works anymore. You have to find out what people want to do and get their ideas and let them
Yeah.
run with it, you know, and give them something. And so they have, you know, one of the other problems we have is motivating people to be leaders. You know, how many times have we recycled presidents and recycled, you know? Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
was president after
It's true.
I did it 2004 and I did it in 2020. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know, somebody else needs to do this.
You
But
know,
I think that it's really, it's good to take a look and get people involved right off the bat once they join, and then kind of think about the succession into leaders. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Debbie,
you guys in our club, I don't know, I see this both sides. Getting the new members involved right away scares some of them. And you don't want to drop them into something that they don't understand or commit to. But the older members too don't want to do anything. I mean, we just have a situation where I have all kinds of ideas of things I'd like to do. Like I want to do something with this teen dating violence thing. I mean, it's something that's really dear to my heart. Well, I send it out to everybody and say, look what SI is doing. Would any of you like to do something with this? Maybe go to the high schools. Crickets. I never get a response. Nobody ever replies. It's like that they all have their one thing they do and they don't want to do anything else. It is so frustrating. And we have several members that don't do anything. You know, they come to the meetings, but they say they're too old or they don't know how to use a computer.
Debbie, why don't you just ask them to come with you?
Yeah.
Don't ask for volunteers. Go to one or two members that maybe are younger, because you're going to be talking to younger girls, and ask them to come with you when you do the presentation. Let them see what it is.
Yeah, I could try that.
Sometimes you have to flat out ask a person to join in, not just for volunteers, but you kind of say, oh, you would be good for this. Would you come with me?
Well, I
and
did try.
you know, you've also hit on something. You can't just send out emails to people. That first of all, a lot of people don't even read them. So
Yeah.
there's something called a phone that you can pick up and call. It's a new technique, you know, we need to use that.
Well, we only meet once a month, so I have a very limited time in person with them, and if they don't read their emails, they're not going to know what I'm talking about.
Right, I
It's a real
know.
Debbie, we meet once a month too. It's the same.
Yeah.
But I
same
find
problem.
if you really want to get people to volunteer and do things, you almost need to give them a call and talk to them about it. Just because you meet once a month, the emails come through, they seem kind of impersonal, but you need to kind of reach out to, especially if there's a new project or something that you want to get people to get involved in. That's a good technique to try. Personal touch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just in reflecting on all this, because we're certainly in the same predicament, I kind of think some of the best and most fun and innovative ideas have come in maybe more of a social setting where we just were, you know, chatting and somebody said, hey, what about this, you know, and then it just kind of took off from there. And as that conversations develops and includes people, then, you know, someone that has an idea of, well, maybe we could do this thing, then that becomes the perfect volunteer to do that thing. And you're right, it's I have learned email no longer works. I don't know, I guess we're bombarded by emails, and so you know, it's just one more. And I am, Bobbi, having more success in connecting with people over the phone, which is funny.
I know, because I've always thought, well, it's so much easier to just put everything in writing and everybody can read it. I'm just shocked at how many people don't, they read the first couple of lines and they don't read all the rest. So I was told that when I was president, my emails were way too long. There was too much information in them. And I'm like, well, how else are we supposed to share the information, you know?
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, except try whatever works. And I have this one friend I know, if I text her, she'll respond. If I call her, she doesn't answer the phone. If I send an email, she doesn't even open them. So I always text her to say, hey, I sent you a really good email. Please read it. So you have to kind of learn how to manage that communication between people. Yeah.
I also think that, you know, Caden, you mentioned you meet once a month. We meet once a month, Debbie. I don't know how often you meet Nancy. But
We meet twice a month.
twice a month. Okay. So I know that's kind of makes it hard, because that becomes your business meeting, and it's hard to build in the extra kind of fun stuff that you want to do when you're only meeting once a month. And
Yeah.
and I know there's a downside to trying to meet every week too. I get that. I just know when my very first club, you know, we did meet every week, and so 3 weeks were just fun program, whatever, and then 1 month was just business. But with the once a month, it's you know, I'm really encouraging our club to, you know, minimize the business to what really needs to be done that month, instead of, you know, to have a tendency to go through the whole agenda every single time, and then, you know, 2 hours go by and there's not time for getting to know each other, and there's not time for brainstorming and other things. And that in of itself is demotivating, just to come in this setting and it's all business all the time, unless we're, you know, working on an event or, you know, something like that. That's
Yeah.
kind of different. But
Yeah. I think we've, because a lot of us have gone to one meeting a month, or maybe a second meeting, but we don't need to go through every topic every time with an update, because that's what is in those emails. You know, if you can have just the status of things, and just plan the meeting to have a little bit of business, to vote on whatever you need to, and then schedule some time to do that project brainstorming or educating, or just socializing, making sure you have some time in there to socialize, because that's what's missing, I think, from the movement from meeting weekly to now. And a lot of clubs have done that, and I think they've suffered. But that's the way it is now, so we have to accept that. And we were talking about it the other day, because our club used to have, you know, every Thursday we met for lunch, and it was a social time as well as the meeting time. So, because we had only one meeting that was business, and the rest was usually some kind of topic or a social type thing. But that's not the way the world works anymore. So you have to adapt. Yeah. Any other questions or ideas? Something that's worked for you? How about recognition? What kind of recognition do you do in your club?
I just at the last meeting recognized one of the ladies that's been on our Classy Bag Affair program since we started it 11 years ago, and she's stepping down. So I gave a little speech about her and gave her a plant, and everybody stood up and applauded. So that went over very well. I try and recognize people at the meetings. Unfortunately, with our club, it's like the same people. You know, I mean, if you're recognizing stuff they've done, it's the same people doing everything. So then you think, well, how can I? It's kind of a fine line. You don't want to upset people, but you know, you also don't want to have the same people over and over again.
Yeah.
But the other thing I do is I do little drawings. Depending on the holiday, I'll get like little Valentine hearts and things, and I give everybody a ticket, and we have a drawing. I have 4 or 5 gifts, so they take something home. I don't know, just trying to make it a little fun.
That's kind of fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our club has, we call it the Pinky Award, and we have this it's a little ceramic thing. It's really, to be honest with you, extremely ugly. We found it in a thrift shop, and it's a pink and white with gold, you know, ceramic, and they paid $1 for it in a thrift shop, and it said Seroptimus of the Month. We don't know where it came from. So we used that. If somebody's actually put fake flowers in it, and we kind of dolled it up, and we use it as a peer award. So every month somebody gives it to someone else, and they can do it for any reason, whether you made a couple phone calls, or you handled some, we had a member that was sick and you brought food to them, whatever you want to do. It that's kind of fun. Everybody looks forward to that, and that's another way of recognition, but it's from
I like that.
a member to a member.
And really, those are some of the most important pieces of recognition when you're getting them from your peers.
Right.
Absolutely. I like that a lot.
I do too. I think I'm gonna steal it. I can make something.
Me
Yeah, you
too.
could-
Me too.
And of course, this thing is really so ugly that we make a big deal out of. Like if somebody forgets to bring it, because you wanted to keep it, you just loved it so much.
I kind of like the idea of having something tacky.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we say you
Because
have to
then it's
set it
just
in.
fun. It's a little lighthearted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So, how about any other ideas? We have I see another person has joined us, but she's on silent. Jermaine?
Yep, I'm here. I was just having dinner, so I just wanted it to be no pictures. So you're not seeing me chew.
Why not?
You're allowed.
So, anything else? I think we've kind of covered motivation. Lots of different ways, and it's just a matter of making everybody feel important and being part of the club. And I know it's so easy. I see it all the time where it's just the same 7 or 8 people that are doing everything, and you've just got to get, find what people want to do, and start whatever they want to, a new project, or get them involved in something that they want to learn more about. There is an
Why did they keep
assessment.
going?
I think it's still on the SIA website. Have you used that? Any of you? I think it's in the membership section. They used to have it. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it was like you could, what are the skills you have? What are skills you want to learn? It's really a good way to sort of get a survey of what everybody likes doing. And it can help you pick committees, each year. It's hard sometimes to figure out. The accountant doesn't always want to be the treasurer, they want to do something different.
We just talked about that on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, people have a job they do. They don't maybe not necessarily want to do that in their club work.
Exactly.
So you got to find out what they want to do. Yeah. Anyway, any last words? Any questions? I don't think we can stretch this to 7:30, Judy.
No, that's okay. Short and sweet, to the point. Yeah. So
Thank
thank you
you
so
very
much,
much.
Bobbi. Really appreciate your time, and good ideas, great reminders. Some things that
Yes.
maybe
Great
seem
reminders.
obvious and we forget, and it all just comes full circle with some of the things that we've been talking about throughout the year in this Leadership Academy. We've done a workshop on appreciating your members. We've done a workshop on understanding skills and talents. We've talked about some of these already, and it's just nice to see how it all comes together, especially when we pointed toward our mission. Yeah.
I was looking at they have this section on the website called Leadership Development, and these tips are in there.
Yes.
The one on Motivation Matters. Some of those other ones are really good. There's all kinds of good ideas on how to get people to step up to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another big problem, is we're just recycling our leaders. So anything you can do to kind of identify people that, maybe it requires being mentors, or each person who has a position needs to look for their successor and kind of figure out, how do we get people to step up? Because we need more people to do that. It's just, the clubs get stagnant when you have the same leadership all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something, that I've been thinking about a lot. In fact, I have to do a presentation I'm attending a conference in San Diego, and they they want me to talk about step up to leadership. So I've been kind of researching it, and this kind of goes along with that. So
That's
yeah.
great. That's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for inviting me. It was
Thank
great
you.
to get to talk to all of you.
Yes, thank you again. We appreciate your time.
All right.
You'll
I'll
be
see
fine.
you next time.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Bye.
Bobby.
everyone.
Bye-bye.